You know, they're going to be very, very difficult to beat in this Ulster Championship, and I don't think Armagh will like playing them. I think they would have preferred to play Tyrone.
Sure. OK, gentlemen, obviously we'd like to talk more about that game, but this is the game that we're talking about. These are the Leinster champions. I don't know if they'll have heard of what's after happening to the Ulster champions, Joe Brolly. Big day for Laois today. They want to go on. They want to even do better than they did last year. Yeah, can they win?
Nobody can burst your balloon the way Meath can. I mean, Paul can testify to that. I think in 1996 they beat Dublin when everyone expected Dublin to beat them. They went on that year and won the All-Ireland, beat all the fancy teams, destroyed Tyrone in the All-Ireland semi-final, trampled on them, showed them no respect, and no better team for a job like this than Meath.
Noel Curran, your dad, of course, a Meath man and played for Meath. Is your heart there, or do you think Laois do it?
Well, I said before the game that I think Laois are good enough for this game, but like Joe said, Meath are never done, and this is it's set up for a Meath victory, but I think Laois will have enough for
Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. OK, time for us to hand over then, the great man down in the centre of the picture there. Commentators at Croke Park for our second match, Ger Canning and Tony Davis.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael, as everybody stands for the anthem. For Micko, big day for the fans. Leinster semi-final, and there's one significant change on the Laois team. The champions recall Pádraig Clancy as a direct replacement for Michael Lawler. Clancy, who started midfield last year, is selected at wing forward as the defending champions didn't want to dislodge either Kevin Fitzpatrick or Noel Garvin from the centre of the park. Meath, by comparison, make 3 changes from the team that beat Wicklow in the first round. Hank Traynor is recalled to the half-back line. Seamus Kenny is given a 3rd championship outing at wing forward, while there's a debut at the edge of the square for Joe Sheridan. And note the number changes. Sheridan, for instance, is number 27. And the referee today, Pat McEnany, getting it underway. Bit of a delay from the start here to facilitate TV cameras to make sure that everybody was able to enjoy the match from the north. And now the Leinster semi-final here at Croke Park. It is Laois in the blue and white changed outfits. Look like 15 jockeys have just got back from Ascot, but they all look very smart. And there's Bino, and he's at centre half forward this afternoon. With me is Tony Davis. The switches and changes made by both teams, do you see them having a bearing, I wonder, as we just for a small check on Joe Sheridan here, trying to thread a ball through. Game settling down, Tony, and it's a big, big day for both teams.
A big day for both teams. A big day for Laois in particular after having such a successful Leinster. And there's huge question marks hanging over Meath as well. But Hank Traynor, Seamus Kenny and Joe Sheridan actually strengthened their team.
Early pressure then is on the Laois backline. Colin Byrne back there, taking it away from Trevor Giles. They try to work it closely out of the backline there. Pádraig Clancy, wonder will he operate as a 3rd midfield player. Good ball up here towards Russ Munnelly. Lobbed ahead here towards Parkinson. Colin Parkinson kicking, and he has put it wide. His approach, his demeanour there didn't suggest a man who was totally confident.
No, Ger, but I'm sure he's in there for a purpose, marking Darren Fee, that he'll run him around a bit. He marked Darren Fee above in Navan in a league game and did very well against him, so I'm sure that's the strategy for them.
Goalkeeper today is David Gallagher. He's been the Meath sub-goalkeeper for the past 5 years. Of course, his predecessor, Cormac Sullivan, played in 23 championship matches. Not a great deal of breeze about. Nicely picked up by Meath's captain, Paddy Reynolds. Kicked ahead by Charles McCarthy. Inside towards Joe Sheridan once again. He's a towering figure. Not the best of marksmanship, however. Charles McCarthy there, who is centre half forward this afternoon. To his right he's got Seamus Kenny, to his left he'll have Trevor Giles. Fergal Byron, 24th championship appearance. Laois bidding to get back into the Leinster final, something they last did consecutive years back in the 40s, 46 and 47. Tomás O'Connor spills loose there. Fennelly kicking on his left, easily taken away by Hank Traynor. He's cut the hair. Moyles, now McCarthy, little drop coming on it there from Bina MacDonald, taking the sting out of it. Again, it's Byrne playing it neatly out here. Once again, Brian Bino MacDonald. Parkinson getting out with the ball first time. Second possession, he's won. Trying to set up a scoring chance for somebody. Fed ahead by Munnelly there, kicked forward by Ian Fitzgerald. Not a great deal of purpose to it, however, as the match just tries to establish a pattern and the players just try to settle down to the task. Crawford kicking. Evan Kelly, bit of work to do over there. Joe Higgins in charge of that situation. That's Paul MacDonald. Missed the Leinster final last year against Kildare because of a suspension. Noel Garvin, rather aimlessly kicked, but still some good work by Parkinson, and he's got a third touch to the ball. Now laying it up here for Fitzgerald, last year's captain. Russ Munnelly making space for himself. Darren Rooney was wanted by the hurlers as well, yes, last night. They do well, and the man who's taken down there is Kevin Fitzpatrick. There was a doubt about him going into the match because of hamstring trouble. Niall McCaig committing the indiscretion.
Now that's very good play by Laois, shows their youthful enthusiasm, but Colin Parkinson started very well inside on Darren Fay. The only thing I would feel is that Brian MacDonald, if he was closer to goal and got the kind of balls that that Parkinson got, that he would be after getting a score from play at this stage.
So Russ Munnelly, from a club that's enjoyed a lot of success in Laois in the last 12 months, Arles Kilcrews, should be the first score of the match. And it is. The man who was the babe of the team last year, Russ Munnelly, kicking over the opening point. Still under 5 minutes played. Not a huge attendance by any manner of means here, looking around Croke Park, but it can be rather deceptive, such as the vastness of the arena. They were expecting a crowd around about 45,000. Gallagher from St. Peter's in Dunboyne. Noel Garvin rising up for that. He's formed a very good alliance in midfield with Kevin Fitzpatrick. I wonder how they'll do against Meath. Kicked forward there by Seamus Kenny. Next thing, that Dáithí Regan had moved across to the top of the right position there. Picking himself off the ground also. Pádraig Clancy. You can see his right hand still bandaged up. That's the legacy of an injury picked up. If you can pick up an injury at work, kept him out of football for most of the spring. Seamus Kenny getting the first ticking of the game. Meath's number 20, operating at right half forward. Little burst out of defence here. Oof. Going down there is Joe Higgins under the weight of that challenge. Watch it again as Higgins was coming out. Kenny was the first to put in a challenge, and then the elbow of Paddy Reynolds going out, and quite correctly he's got himself a yellow card for that. Well, there can be no room in senior football for that kind of challenge. It wasn't a tackle, it was a blatant foul. Not the best of starts then for Meath's captain. And he's on a match-up this afternoon on Pádraig Clancy, which means he switched across from the right wing where he was picked across to the left. Also looking around there, I've noted that Hank Traynor is matching up with Russ Munnelly as the free is quickly taken. Towards Ian Fitzgerald, out there first is Mark O'Reilly. Now Anthony Moyles. Back towards Reynolds once again. Trevor Giles. There's a man over. It's the midfielder Nigel Crawford, another man from Dunboyne. Sheridan former minor star. Back towards Kenny once again. And again, a little bit of pressure coming in, and it was sufficient to put Kenny off his stride, and he's kicked it wide.
There's huge pressure on Joe Sheridan today. He's been their top scorer in the league, scoring 623, and himself and Dahi Regan are playing a two-man inside full forward line, and they're trying to get the ball in. But for such a young player, it's huge pressure on his shoulders.
Well, it's the big test today. That's nicely down as far as Kelly. Evan Kelly tearing through, kicking with his left. And again, the back's coming in and putting him off his stride. And full credit that time for Noel Garvin for coming in late with the challenge on Evan Kelly. And it's worked. No joy for the Simonstown Gale player from Navan. Well, the game in Clonus was low scoring initially. This one is low scoring as well. Just a point between the teams after over 8 minutes play. Giles back here to Reynolds. Inside towards Evan Kelly, trying to do a little triangular movements. Get something moving inside. Held up there. And that's out over the end line. That's wide. And that was Hank Traynor way up. Well, he's scored goals and points in the past from a wing-back situation for Meath. Can be a very dangerous player, likely to pop up anywhere. And the referee, I think, has decided there was a foul on Traynor, and it's a free in for Meath's troubles. So all of that has yielded a scoring opportunity. Joe Sheridan with the predominantly white boots to kick an equaliser here, nicely over. Good reward there for the Meath pressure. Sheridan, who is studying sports management in UCD, will be pleased with his start, and it's a point apiece. Fergal Byron, widely recognised by his peers for some outstanding displays last season. Brought Laois a first provincial title for 57 years. Paddy Reynolds, great old campaigner. Kenny. Fullback Darren Faye's come out to provide an extra bit of choice. Evan Kelly. Charles McCarthy taking on Tom Kelly. Holding on well here is Kenny. Good link player. Trevor Giles. They work it inside towards Evan Kelly again. Charles McCarthy. Again, Laois getting players back. It's become the pattern of Gaelic football in recent seasons. And Tom Kelly, when the pass goes astray, kicks long, way down towards Ian Fitzgerald, taking on Mark O'Reilly. Onto his left boot. Dropping short once again, easy for David Gallagher. Still attuning to the pace of senior inter-county football on the field of play. Faye. And they get almost bottled up over there. Charles McCarthy, the player in possession, freed outside to Anthony Moyles. Big long one is cut out easily by Paul MacDonald. Crisply taking it forward and spotting a loose man who's Ross Munnelly. Meath get two men back to try and challenge. But it's a good ball from Ross Munnelly, and it's over the bar. But credit the pass from Paul MacDonald. Meath were ball watching, and Ross Munnelly won the ball here. Then look at the two backs getting behind him. But he had enough confidence to get it on his left boot and hit it beautifully over and make it 2 points to 1.
Yes, Ross Munnelly will really have to be marked today. Hank Traynor will have to be closer than that. He was caught ball watching there, and the one chance he got, he kicked it over the bar. But the both defences look on top at the moment, and some of the passing has been quite poor. But a good score there.
That the first point of the match to come from play, of course. Fisted into the space here. Joe Sheridan once again using his physical might. Nicely in for Dahi Regan to curl it between the posts, but it's just outside. Went very close indeed. Dahi Regan from a junior club from St. Michael's. Just out of luck, so it's still 2 points to 1. Good call at the back. Nicely taken down by Anthony Moyles, one of those play-anywhere players. Reynolds into space. Sheridan had fallen. Picked up instead by Aidan Fennelly. Bad ball! There's an opportunity! It's with Regan again! And he's kicked it over the bar this time. If at first you don't succeed, keep on trying, seems to be the Meath motto. Dáithí Regan did this, but what about the assist pass from Evan Kelly right across? And Laois were carved open. And that's very worrying.
Very worrying, because self-inflicted. Nobody kicks the ball across their goal like that, especially in Croke Park. It's so big, giving away possession so easily.
Settling down into be a right good contest. Giles back in towards Sheridan. Ooh. That time Colin Byrne didn't look too composed. Fly kicking that one out, could have gone anywhere. It goes instead to Aidan Fennelly. Aidan Rooney now. The muscular figure getting it forward here to his centre-half back, Tom Kelly. Parkinson winning his race against Darren Fay. That's one of the features of the match this afternoon. Noel Garvin. Bino MacDonald trying to win the duel. Did he pick it up? Referees decided it's going to be a free to Laois. The Meath fans don't quite agree. Interesting switch of positions for Brian Bino MacDonald this afternoon. They try to maximise his value to the team. Munnelly, good positional play. That's a great score by Ross Munnelly. The scoring star of the show so far. 3 shots at the target, 3 points for the little number 10. But what about the positional sense here that he shows? Taking Hank Traynor across there.
Yeah, especially with his left leg. It was for the wrong side from the left leg, but Brian MacDonald found them very well. There's very good understanding between both of them, even though Bino MacDonald hasn't been in the game so far with 14 minutes gone.
Well, he didn't score, I think, in that last match against Carlo, so Mick O'Dwyer and the management wanted to do something. That's a free from where the ball lands. Late foul that time, free to Meath. Nigel Crawford, ready to kick, trying to sum up his options. Nicely taken by Sheridan. Not a great deal of subtlety in the kick, however. Kept in play there by Regan. Players calling for it. Sheridan is one of them. The big man, laying it back there along the line. Little block on it, however, as if is still in play. Still opportunities. Seamus Kenny. Rooney trying to block the route into goal on the baseline. Turn back here to Trevor Giles. Good looking shot, and the umpire reaches for the white flag and waves it here in Croke Park. And it's 3 points to 2, and Trevor Giles from screen has got his first point. Great pass back from Seamus Kenny. Good awareness of an impossible situation on the end line, turned into a scoring chance. So 3-3 the score at this stage. Again, it's booted down. Left behind by Aidan Fennelly. The recovery by Evan Kelly. Calling for it here once again is Dáithí Regan. Real hit and hope one in there to see if the big man can take it down, but it's a battle of 2 tall men, and this time it's Colin Byrne who wins the duel. Bino MacDonald doing well this time, showing composure, and he's dragged down. His marker is Tomas O'Connor, has to be careful. The free was taken ridiculously quickly. The referee has noted the indiscretion by O'Connor and ticked his name. Mick O'Dwyer won't be too pleased with the way that kick was taken, very aimlessly. Possession lost.
Yes, Tomas O'Connor does look vulnerable in centre forward if Brian MacDonald can run at him. But Meath will be very, very happy with the first 17 minutes. Their form of late in challenge games, which really means nothing, has been poor. But they've started very, very well to the end. If you told them before the game to be 3 points all at 70 minutes gone, they'd be very happy.
Charles McCarthy came, but left it behind to Seamus Kenny. Good support here by Anthony Moyles. Looking around him, expecting a challenge from Garvin. Regan taking it it inside, tormenting the Laois backs. Good block. Spills loose to Joe Higgins. They get it away. Good grouping. Ross Munnelly way back. Tom Kelly outside. And again there's a support player, Aidan Rooney. Keeping his head, flicking it up here as far as Bino MacDonald. To Colin Parkins, who started so prominently, trying to get it above Darren Fay, gets it back however. Laois fortunate this time. Parkinson curls, and Parkinson has scored a beauty. One of the points of the match. Colin Parkinson's first. A very, very game player. Not familiar with the road of full forward, but doing a job and doing it well. One happy Laois man. 4-3. Sean Boylan and his selectors. This year, of course, David Beggy has joined him along with Declan Mullen. They're working hard for possession in midfield. Both teams prepared to battle for the scraps. O'Connor. His long passing is a feature of his play. Joe Sheridan, a constant nuisance. Great ball. Evan Kelly picking it up, waiting for McCarthy to come through from centre half forward. Didn't get any authority behind the kick, however. The referee says the challenge was fair. Meath fans again don't quite agree, and Tom Kelly trying to get it out and place it towards Clancy. Came off the number 12 of Laois. Line ball to Meath. This was the challenge again here. McCarthy going through, and it was a full-blooded challenge and perfectly fair, I think. It is a physical contact sport, and I think the fans nowadays tend to shout for anything when the ball is anywhere near the goals.
Yes, I think you're right, Joe. I think it was a good tackle. What a pass was by Joe Sheridan from under the stand here. 50-yard pass across the field. Terrific pass to open up the whole play.
One of those players who's got 2 colleges medals with St. Patrick's in Navan, where his coach was one Colm O'Rourke. Did a good job. And of course they are the current All-Ireland Colleges champions. Sheridan with 1 free already taken from just inside the 20-metre line. Over the bar, and he levels it. Teams are level for the 4th time. It's a really good contest. 2 of the heavyweights of Leinster football. Scoring chances so far, 9 created by Meath, 4 taken. Byron, a real thump to the centre. Great catch in there by Noel Garvin. Laid ahead there towards Munnelly, and Garvin kept motoring. Bino MacDonald's around as well. Holding it up, and he tries to sell dummies. He was trying to link up with Kevin Fitzpatrick. Comes away. That's McCaig. The target man down there is Daithí Regan. His marker, Aidan Fennelly. Facially, he looks very like Tommy Dow, doesn't he? McCarthy across the face of goal. Sheridan there to retrieve. Colin Byrne out for company. Awkward angle. Oh, he's kicked it just outside this time. He's very bitterly disappointed. Felt it was on its way in, but it just curled away at the last moment. Still 4 points apiece. Sean Boylan in his 22nd year at the helm in Meath football. He's won 4 All-Ireland titles and taken them to so many Leinster trophies. Seamus Kenny, as Meath bid to try and take the lead for the first time in this match. Evan Kelly. Good work by Evan Kelly. Going to steal a march there on Joe Higgins, the all-star. Bad ball. Darren Rooney lets it slip. Recovers. Palpitations among the Laois fans. Knocked ahead here. Everybody ready to chase after it. Russ Munnelly has it. Hank Traynor is marker. Darren Rooney, the free man. Sheridan's gone back to try and dispossess him. Enterprisingly over. Laois trying to do something about this with Noel Garvin getting it back towards Tom Kelly, and Kelly has kicked it well to the left and well wide. But it's up and down the field and hugely entertaining. David Gallagher, former Meath under-21 captain. Broken down well over there by Paul MacDonald. You can see Seamus Kenny not too pleased. Torrey Clancy wants to take the free kick to Parkinson. And Parkinson with the sliding tackle there by Trevor Giles, penalised by the referee. And the referee's got to speak to Giles. Just a ticking. Trevor Giles has seen it all over the last 10 years. 29 this year. So Ross Munnelly shaping up to kick this one just inside the 45-metre line. 3 points so far. And he's kicked right and he's kicked left. He looks confident. That looks good. And it sails over. 4 from 4 for Ross Munnelly. A player of wonderful skill.
That was a terrific score by him. As soon as he kicked it, as soon as it left his boot, you know it was going over the bar. Laois are doing very well with Colin Parkinson in full forward. Darren Fay just can't get out in front of the youthful enthusiasm of Parkinson, and they're scoring every chance they get from the frees.
There's no mistaking, Tony, the great energy that's being expended out there today. Two teams who really want to get to a Leinster final. You can have your qualifiers, that's brilliant and wonderful, but there's nothing to beat getting into the Leinster final and trying to win it. That's what all the training over the winter is about. Kenny, huge one down to Sheridan. Could he be their ace this afternoon? One back here well by Joe Higgins. Back from Kelly to Higgins. The man with the most famous twins to walk around Croke Park. Out it comes towards Paul MacDonald. Freed as far as Aidan Fennelly. 25 minutes into the first half. On a day when Tyrone lost their Ulster title to Donegal up in Clonus. Laois putting their Leinster title on the line against their great old rivals from Meath. And they have a free kick for this. Taken quickly up along the line here. Held on to there by the captain, Chris Conway. Battling to get into the match in a more meaningful way. That'll do nicely, and that's over the bar. Chris Conway, panel member last year who didn't see any of the action. Well, he's got a very good record of scoring in championships. Today is his 15th game. Coming into the game, he had scored 5 goals and 32 points. Not bad for a corner forward. And Laois scoring chances, well, 10 in all created. They've taken 6. Two master tacticians in action on the sideline, of course, Sean Boylan and Mick O'Dwyer. Colin Parkinson in action down on the field. He's left it behind to Tomas O'Connor, centre half back this season for Meath. Rooney trying to cut it out, did well, showed good hands, great awareness. Outside for Higgins. Down once again towards the corner forward and started scoring. Conway, great ball outside for Clancy. Oh, good block. Darren Fay did really well, took the steam out of that, and that was enough for Mark O'Reilly to gather in to be fouled, and it's a free to Meath, but there was a real point scoring opportunity for Porrick Clancy. Well, a bit of frustration after all of that, and Clancy's got himself ticked. But the match is flying, and Pat McEnany is keeping it moving. But he had a great chance a little while ago, but wonderful play by Darren Fay. Watch his approach, watch his timing, brilliant. Well, he's resourceful. If it's not the hands, it can be the side or the back. Anything will do. But he was prepared to fling himself in front of the football. Gallagher, great kick, good distance. spills around. Once again, it's Garvin. Taken up here by Higgins. Touched on the ground by Fitzpatrick. The referee says there was sufficient help on it. Bino MacDonald, 2 men crowding him in. O'Connor, the one who fouled him. Kenny was there as well. Free to Laois.
Yeah, I think he's going to get booked now. That's the 3rd or 4th foul he has had on Bino MacDonald. And every time Brian MacDonald has run on him, he's really ran him ragged.
Well, you're absolutely spot on. He was ticked earlier on. The referee says 2 indiscretions and maybe more results in a yellow card. And that, I think, is the first of the match. Bino MacDonald on his left boot. And he's kicked it wide. Bad miss. Laois have had a couple of chances now in the last 5 minutes. There was that miss there and the one by Clancy a little while ago.
Yeah, they've come into the game more in the last 15 minutes, dominating around midfield, and their forwards look lethal when they get the ball around the goal.
Well, you know so terribly well from your playing days, you can never be the Meath team. Whether it's Leinster or the All-Ireland Series, they're game performers. And they'll put it up to Laois, the champions. Anthony Moyles. Daithí Regan couldn't possibly hope to get that one. It was just badly placed. Moyles will have to settle to the task. Laois have some big, strong men in midfield. Fitzpatrick, Garvin, Clancy, all of them pulling their weight. Moyles again on the ground. Charles McCarthy trying to rise. He drops it again. Pick up well this time by McCarthy. Nice skill. Held in possession, free kick. Did about as much as he could hope to do there, and a long, long ball, 2 against 1. If they can keep it in play, Sheridan racing, but he did everything he possibly could, including colliding with the advertising hoarding. Just for a moment there was a possibility there for me that the ball was well placed by Charles McCarthy, but it ran away from Sheridan and ran away from Kelly just behind him.
He's just having no luck today. A lot of the ball into him, he'll have to fight for it, and Colin Byrne is a very strong individual in there in full back. You mustn't forget that Joe Sheridan's only 19 years old, and he's sinful to their plans.
Pádraig Clancy doing really well, breaking it down for an alert Tom Kelly. Good understanding among the Laois players. Rooney keeping it in play, bending his back to collect Mark O'Reilly. Got support there. Tomas O'Connor, booked just a few minutes ago. Outside of his captain, Paddy Reynolds, who was also booked. That's 2 yellow cards, I should have said, for Meath players. Regan trying to keep it in, trying to torment the Laois backline. The referee has blown his whistle. Aidan Fennelly is wondering, quizzing the decision. The referee in no doubt whatsoever, and the notebook's out. And the number 2 being spoken to by the referee.
Again, Pat McEnany read it right. Quick ball in, skidded off the wet surface and in over his head. He had no choice but to do it, but Pat McEnany is doing very well in this game.
I think that is a ticking for Aidan Fennelly. So Daithí Regan shaping up to kick this one. Put just 1 between them. He's done the needful. His second point. I mentioned he comes from a junior club. I think it was Martin O'Connell's club, St. Michael's. Player who scored 1-5 against Wicklow here 4 weeks ago. 4 from 11 the scoring situation, and 6-5 on the scoreboard. Laois still continuing to lead, and about 4 minutes to go to half-time. The battle for Leinster supremacy, and of course the next semi-final coming up next Sunday, Westmeath against Wexford. Nice ball in. Munnelly's around. Parkinson's ahead of him. The referee says a couple of hops there, and it's got to be a free out. Yes, a double hop, but it's got to be a free out. Pat McEnany right up with the play. Disappointed there was Ross Munnelly. Referee getting it absolutely spot on. Gallagher once again thumping it away downfield. Charles McCarthy breaking ball on the 40. That's a key. The alertness of Evan Kelly. A good ball in towards Regan. Rapid transfer to Sheridan. It's a great score. Joe Sheridan kicks his first from play, his third of the day. But look at the combination from the kick by Gallagher, the layoff, and the pass inside to Sheridan, and a blistering shot over. They are level for the 5th time. It's a great match at Croke Park. Two fine football teams serving up the best. Nigel Crawford for Miles. Miles pass as far as Charles McCarthy. Again, it's Daithí Regan as Meath trying to get the lead for the first time. He was trying to turn it back to Trevor Giles. Penalty there instead. Sheridan once more. He's absolutely tormenting Laois at the back. Charles McCarthy laying it off. Miles once again. Beyond Crawford that time. Not a good pass from Anthony Miles. Colin Parkinson lifting the siege. Taking it at Meath once again. But the shot leaving an awful lot to be desired. Terrible finish indeed from Colin Parkinson. So 2 minutes of valid time to be played, which means we've got about another 3 minutes of action. Still 6 against 6. Charles McCarthy once again there, leaving it to Noel Garvin. Parkinson back down there towards Ian Fitzgerald, and that has gone wide. We haven't seen much of Ian Fitzgerald as a scoring threat. He's looking rather puzzled at the referee there. I think he probably felt it was over.
Laois should have more on the board here. They had some easy shots there, but Colin Parkinson doing very, very well in that full forward. Out front to everything and laying it off simply.
Garvin rising, but so too was Nigel Crawford, bit of jersey tugging. Referee decides it's a free to Laois. Crowd wasn't 100% sure which team was going to get the decision. Clancy gathered in here well by Ian Fitzgerald. Now Bino, MacDonald. Well, he was beating the chances, but he couldn't direct it on target. And these misses now could be very costly for the champions, Laois. Meath are still level. We're heading in towards the half-time break. We've seen how dangerous Laois can be, but we've also seen that in breakaways Meath can tag on vital scores. MacDonald has had 3 chances so far for Mick O'Dwyer's team, and he's scored none.
That's one of the things of having him so far from goal. If he was near a goal, he'd have a better chance.
This was the gamble, I guess, Tony. That's broken down once again. Evan Kelly stopped by Tom Kelly. Well controlled by Colin Byrne from Portlaoise. High up into the ozone layer, taken down by Nigel Crawford. Struggling to get loose from Noel Garvin. Referee has the notebook out. 36 minutes of action gone. Well, we've had 2 bookings of Meath players. This time it's Noel Garvin who gets the yellow card. He's the first from Laois. 2-1 Meath win where the cards are concerned. 6-all. Main scoreline. So about another half minute to go. Trevor Giles, end of the first half. Nice ball in. Kenny's going through. Seamus Kenny. He's put it wide. He's furious with himself, and well, he might be. That was a great chance, and Sean Boylan realises it. Picked him for his pace and his penetrating ability, but he hasn't kicked the one chance that came his way just before the break. He's a son of Paul Kenny, by the way, who was a former underage manager with Meath and also a Louth senior manager some time ago. Referee looks at his watch. Shrill whistle. End of 37 minutes of action, real action. Some misses, but lots of great play as well. And 2 teams who've given us their all. And nothing to choose between them at the break. Anthony Moyles having done his bit in midfield for Meath. And at the break, as the teams go in to hear the words of wisdom from Sean Boylan and Mick O'Dwyer in this Bank of Ireland Leinster semi-final at Croke Park, Half-time scoreline is Laois 6, Meath 6. So the champions having quite a battle on their hands. And I wonder whether or not those misses just before half-time. There was a great block by Darren Fay. It was one of the features of the first half as well. And generally speaking, David Gallagher will be very pleased with that first half performance at Croke Park. We're wondering whether we can get some words of wisdom. I think we can indeed. And Tony O'Donoghue is down talking with one of the Meath mentors, David Beggy.
Yes, indeed, David Beggy joins me. You'll be pleased enough, I think, to be 6 points each at half-time.
It's a good place to be. I suppose there's a bit of a wind out there. It picks up and drops off quite a bit, but the wind is in Laois's favour. So yeah, we're happy enough with 6 points apiece.
You'll lose some of those missed chances though late in the half.
Yeah, we're over-elaborating a little bit up in the front, holding on to a little too long, but we'll work on that at half-time. We'll get that right.
Graham Geraghty is back in the panel. Any chance of him coming in the second half?
No, don't know. Not getting that one. Good luck.
Yeah, that remains to be seen. What happens in the second half? David Beggy talking there to Tony O'Donoghue, obviously. Paul Curran and Joe Brawley on the panel here with me. Ger Canning was saying the words of wisdom at half-time. One of the words that both managers will be saying, lads, those two white things down at the end of the field is the posts. Lots of misses, but a good game of football.
Yeah, I think it's a lot better than the Ulster semi-final, and a lot of good scores in play, but some terrible misses, particularly from Laois. You know, they were 6-4 up with about 10 minutes to go to half-time, and they had a couple of very easy chances, an outside goal chance as well from Pádraig Clancy. You know, so they should really be 5 or 6 points up, but they're not. And Meath are 6 points all, and who knows?
This is what we know from Meath. You can't do that. You have to, if you're going to beat them, you have to bury them.
Although both teams are unconvincing. I mean, it's a pretty ordinary standard of football, and neither team looks anyway capable of going to any sort of great heights in this year's championship. There's a lot of waste, a lot of balls being put astray, and a lot of boys who don't look like very good footballers playing on both sides. I mean, Parkinson, for example, just flatters to deceive. He's got the ball 8 or 9 times, but he's wasted it 8 times, and then once he scored a point, but it was blocked down and he got it again. It was a wee bit fortuitous. If you took Ross Munley out of it for Laois, I mean, even Bino wasn't playing well. How he didn't get an All-Star last year, I'll never know, but even Bino's not playing well. So Ross has been very dangerous, and Meath have got to do something. Hank Traynor simply isn't up to the job there. And the other boy, Sheridan, for Meath, he's been excellent, really good up at full forward for Meath.
OK, gentlemen, we have a break coming up right now. After that, we're back here at Croke Park with Joe and Paul for further discussion on this Leinster football semi-final.
And there's no one I'd rather be. I just wished I had.
Never ever drink and drive. Could you live with the shame? From the National Safety Council, supported by AXA Insurance.
Introducing Danone Danissimo Stracciatella. Delicate petals of chocolate in delicious yogurt with a touch of cream. New Danissimo from Danone. A delicious indulgence. Danone Danissimo. The yogurt that's bellissimo. Danone.
When you win, nothing hurts. Come on, get. This is Essential Kit. Keeps top athletes going 33% longer. Fact.
To the end of 2004.
Jane, did you get that spreadsheet?
Yes, this morning.
No, the revised one before lunch. I emailed it to your office.
I'm actually out with a client now, but I can...
Not my problem. I'll need a response before close of play.
These days, work is something you do, not somewhere you go. And now, with Vodafone, you won't have to go back to the office to access your office email.
Mrs. Gallagher, just check the mail. There's no attachments. Can you send it again, please?
Fine.
Business is better with Vodafone.
A dazzling display of skill that everyone can enjoy. Teamwork is really starting to pay off. Looking like it's on target, he shoots, he scores! Who I say? Play like a professional with the Euro Soccer Skills Game CD for PC or Mac. Free inside this week's Star Sunday.
New 2-in-1 Fresh from Ambipure. Works together with our other bathroom fragrances to create fresh harmony.
Out here, the elements are at their purest. At Budweiser, we too keep things pure. The finest ingredients, naturally brewed, to make a beer that looks, tastes, and refreshes like no other. Budweiser, king of beers.
Yeah, Roscommon not having it all their own way in the West, by the way. Their semi-final in Connacht against Leitrim. It's 9 points to Roscommon, 1-5 to Leitrim, the latest I heard from there. Of course, the other semi-final, Galway against Mayo, next Sunday live here on our Sunday Game Live, along with the Munster hurling final. 6 points apiece here in Croke Park between Laois and Meath in this Leinster semi-final. We were talking about Ross Munnelly before the break, and he really is a class forward. I mean, he was good last year, and he's getting better.
Yes, he's very good, and he's very lively too. He wants to play the game, and he wants to play it in the right way. And he's been terrific for his club all last year. And he's just in a very rich vein of form. Of course, there's a very glaring problem. You know, see him last week whenever Dublin didn't do anything at all about Desi Dolan running riot. I mean, Ross is just running riot off Hank Traynor, who's not a man marker. And Meath need to do something urgently to address that, because Ross is really the only problem. I thought he was a bit harshly penalised. I think it must have been for a double bounce when he was on his third point from play. But any time the ball comes to Ross, something happens for Laois.
Again, one of the things Paula was saying before the break is if you want to beat Meath, because they're so resilient, that you have to take every chance you get. They missed a chance themselves, Meath, mind you, and this was a howler of a mistake in the Laois defence.
They did. We spoke about Laois's miss with Pádraig Clancy, but this was probably a better goal chance because Meath had two players on, and all Evan Kelly had to do was take it on another little bit, go himself, you know, draw the defender, give it or score himself, and I think he passed the ball too early.
It was going towards him.
And it wasn't a very good pass either. It was outside him. He didn't take it on the run, and you know, a goal there would have been a huge boost for Meath.
It was, but it's nicely set up though at 6 points apiece.
That's where you would have needed Ollie Murphy, the old Predators, Graham Garrity, Ollie Murphy. That ball would have been the net. And even now, you can see, I understand that Ollie's just got married and he maybe hasn't wintered that well, but I mean, a predator is what Meath need in there. Someone who can take the ball from Big Sheridan, because Sheridan's doing a lot of damage. He's a strange-looking person. He's a very odd-looking specimen, but he's very knacky. I mean, his passing and his general play has been excellent. But they need someone in there to stick the ball in the net. The young fella McCaig he just doesn't look to be dangerous enough. They need a predator.
We'll have the second half of this semi-final, of course, after a commercial break that's coming up. We've also had another event here at Croke Park today. Now, would you believe it's a year ago since the World Special Olympics were staged here in Ireland, and on the 21st of June, Croke Park here, of course, was the centrepiece for all of that, where the opening ceremony took place. Spectacular event. And a little bit earlier on, some of the athletes that took part on the Irish team last year at the Special Olympics made a presentation of the Olympic torch to Nicky Brennan on behalf of the GAA. We have Laura Jane Dunn there, Tara Laois, James Kelly and David Johnson, all athletes from last year.
Croatia versus England, one of the live matches tomorrow on RTE Network 2. Euro 2004 sponsored by JVC and Coca-Cola.
Funny how we wait all year for it to get hot, just so as we can cool down again. Boma's original cider. Time dedicated to you.
Better out than in, I always say.
It may be a fairy tale,
Shrek and Donkey on another whirlwind adventure.
but happily ever after
Donkey, you're a
Stallion, baby!
will never be the same.
Now, fire in the hole!
quick. Pinocchio, tell a lie.
I'm wearing ladies' underwear.
Are you?
I most certainly am not.
That is nasty.
Shrek 2.
This is Cruise Control, the very best drive time anthems from Junior Senior and Maroon 5. Cruise Control with 40 tracks on 2 CDs, including the stunning new single from Will Young. The very best drive time anthems with a massive exclusive from The Calling. Classics from Elton John, The Jam and Oasis. Cruise Control, the perfect gift for Father's Day.
Extreme. Exciting. Nissan's award-winning X-Trail. Now available in petrol or diesel.
Club Energized Sport. Scail an Fuinnev.
Yeah, second half of this Leinster semi-final coming up. Just a reminder that 6 points apiece between Laois and Meath. Both teams back out on the field. Pat McEnany is ready to go. So it's back to our Cork duo in the commentary box. Tony Davis and Ger Canning.
Thank you very much indeed. We've noticed that Michael Lawler has come back out for the second half for Laois. Just trying to do a check to see who's gone off. It's Kevin Fitzpatrick, and that's no great surprise because he was struggling, I think, with a hamstring problem. And Pádraig Clancy's gone to midfield to support Noel Garvin. So that's a change in the Laois team. 6 points apiece started the second half in front of an attendance of 37,766. I think Laois will be rather disappointed with the end of that first half. They haven't scored. They didn't score. Their last score was in the 26th minute of the first half. And the last 4 shots on goal were all wide by the Leinster champions of 2003. Pat McEnany is set to restart. It'll be Meath playing from left to right. The great challengers very much in the hunt here for a place in this year's Leinster final. Pádraig Clancy straight away into midfield. So Clancy and Garvin, the midfield pairing that took them to the Leinster title last year with great success all throughout the year. Lots of movement off the ball. Kicked in well, saved by David Gallagher, but there was lots of movement there, in particular by Ian Fitzgerald, who was making himself available, never reached him. Anthony Moyles off balance, and he looked at the referee and felt he should have had a free kick for that. Referee not interested. As usual, it's very unfussy refereeing by Pat McEnany. Just gets on with it, realises that the players are the stars of the show. He's very much the facilitator. That's dropped at one back there by Niall McCaig. To the other cornerback, Mark O'Reilly, tripped by Noel Garvin. Play allowed to continue. Up once again to Niall McCaig. The angle ball across here towards Seamus Kenny as Meath look for the lead here. Good ball in, Charles McCarthy drifting in toward the full forward position. The goalkeeper was sharp, gets it back as far as Chris Conway. Conway, the captain, meant to be at corner forward. Paul MacDonald for Laois. Bino MacDonald controlling. Darren Rooney rather. And the referee that time saw some holding. It was Colin Parkinson who was being held. A free from where the ball lands, which is close to the 20-metre line. There's the substitution there. Mick Lawler coming into the Laois team. What kind of an impact will he have? Mark O'Reilly is ticked for that. The foul on Colin Parkinson. Ross Munnelly ready to take this latest free, looking for the first score of the second half. Free takers for both teams, flawless so far. Munnelly with 4 points, 2 of them from frees, kicks and scores. One of the great young stars of Gaelic football at present makes it 7 points to 6. Well, still, it's Hank Traynor who's got the task of marking him in general play. Big task. The fans getting right behind the two teams in the early stages of the second half. Clancy jumping all alone, making a great catch. Dropping it. And Moyles was in with the boot illegally. Crawford racing back, but he was beaten to the jump that time by Pádraig Clancy. Fumbled initially, but won back. Dogged play by Niall McCaig. Free rapidly taken by Darren Fay. Good ball inside to Moyles. Controlled well here by Joe Sheridan. Laying it off to Evan Kelly. Charles McCarthy read it, but struggled to take it and handled it on the ground in the end. Concedes the free kick. Colin Byrne taking it out quickly. Fed ahead to Ross Munnelly. Traynor trying to get in a challenge. Munnelly with the awareness to pick out Parkinson, laying it inside towards Brian Bino MacDonald. Selling dummies right, left and centre and finding himself in the clear. MacDonald, lovely skill. His first point. Wonderful kick there by Brian MacDonald, but it was the approach play that was full of creativity, teasing the Meath defence. First McCaig, then taking it back in, then into the clear. The gap was wide enough to kick with his left and make it 8 points to 6.
Yes, Jordan, it's no fluke that he's now playing corner forward, marked by Niall McCaig, and Niall McCaig is playing well as well, so that should be a terrific battle in there in the corner.
Broken down this time to Moyles. Seamus Kenny waiting for Paddy Reynolds to be available. Loads of Laois players back there, but they're powerless to stop Sheridan. Laying it inside for Daithí Regan. 3 Laois players after him. And they foul him. And it's a free from 20 metres out. It'll be music confused look on the face of Aidan Fennelly, but look at the concern and the leash backs and the consternation caused by Dáithí Regan in possession. Just for a moment there I felt Dáithí Regan might have felt the referee could have whistled against him for holding. He got the verdict. Joe Sheridan with 3 points from the first half, 1 brilliant point from play and 2 pointed frees. This to eat into the Laois lead. A relatively straightforward and easy kick. So 8-7. Crawford racing, but is beaten to the race, but it breaks down kindly for Trevor Giles. And a little tangle of legs there with Darren Rooney. Free kick the outcome. Meath want to take it quickly. Nigel Crawford from St. Peter's and Dunboyne. Kenny has left it behind, but in so doing he fouls the ball, and Laois counter-attack, and it's Ross Munnelly, the chief tormentor, taking on Tomás O'Connor. Nicely freed up inside. Lovely ball inside for Rooney, and it's got a deflection, and it's a 45. Darren Rooney was almost in fact he had a golden opportunity. Started there by Chris Conway, carried on by Michael Lawler, and the final opportunity falling Darren Rooney's way.
Yeah, that was terrific defending by Niall McCaig. He took the most dangerous man that was going to score, left his own man and blocked him down. That's terrific cornerback play. Himself now and Brian MacDonald are having a great battle in there.
Well, there's an injury down to one of the Laois players. It's we'll just try and make out.
I think it's Ross Munnelly. I think what actually happened, he laid the ball off, and just as he laid it off, he took a hit.
Yep. Have a little look at this again here, Tony. Ross Munnelly there was challenged by Hank Traynor, so still down, receiving the attention. It's going to be a 45. It's the first 45 of the match. Well, he's shaken, but he'll want to continue. Watch again here. Went by Tomás O'Connor, and the next challenge coming in was by Hank Traynor. It was rather blatant.
Yeah, he was wide open, he was outstretched, his rib cage was up, and he just got winded. I think he got a belt in the stomach. He's some footballer, this guy Ross Munnelly. I'd pay a fortune to watch him play any day.
Nick O'Dwyer is the one who has him in his side. The kicker here will be Pádraig Clancy from Timahoe. This to stretch the lead again, but that's very, very poorly struck. Well and truly wide, nowhere near the goal. Well, he's a big man, and a big man for the big occasion, and they're glad to have him back for the Leinster Championship and the title they want to hold on to. Again, watch for Clancy. It's fisted down by a combination of Clancy and Garvin. Darren Fay out quickly, reading the signals. And O'Reilly was dispossessed unfairly, and it's going to be a Meath free kick. Ian Fitzgerald, the one who came in to steal it. Kicked ahead by Nigel Crawford. Nicely contained over there by Joe Sheridan. Going to steal a march on Colin Byrne, and Byrne resorts to fouling. This is a tricky customer that Byrne is having to challenge this afternoon. Difficult to contain, the jersey pulled back. Fullback is having his problems, he's been ticked for that. Sheridan will take the free kick himself. Can he level the match here from about 30 metres out? He catches it beautifully. And the teams are now level for the 6th time. Joe Sheridan turning on the style for the Royal fans. The man from Centralstown makes it 8 points apiece. Just listen to the passion and support from the crowd enjoying this Croke Park fair. Pádraig Clancy held in possession. Good run again by Ross Munnelly, and he is beating Hank Traynor to it time and again. This time the ball beats him, but busts the whole of the ball out over the sideline. Meath want to get on with the business. Ross Munnelly wasn't expecting that. Line ball is taken quickly. Tough, hard knocks coming in from some of the Meath backs. They mean business up against Laois this afternoon. Joe Higgins, Ian Fitzgerald, laying it off for Noel Garvin. Kicking on the run, but dropping short for David Gallagher, the Meath goalkeeper. Fay. Mark O'Reilly. Support here from Seamus Kenny. Trevor Giles was available. That's a bad ball from Kenny, who was thinking one or two moves ahead. Parkinson, meanwhile, bearing down on goal and fisting it over the bar. Colin Parkinson's second point. And it all came from that missed pass by Seamus Kenny. It was a fisted pass, and they were made to pay for it. Munnelly setting up Parkinson, and he had the presence of mind to realise that the best option was to fist it over.
Yes, sir, he took the right option, 14 yards out, punched it straight over the bar.
9-8. Wonderful entertainment value. The football may not be the greatest at times, but there is an awful lot at stake. And the players are serving up a real thriller. It's close and competitive. Regan. Tom Kelly trying to block his path to goal. It comes back towards Reynolds. Back outside here towards Charles McCarthy. Sheridan's in there still, trying to make sure he doesn't go wide. Keeps it in play. Has options. Fed beautifully inside. Hank Traynor hasn't done an awful lot so far. Defensively, creatively, what can he do? Back it comes, and it's gone wide off the boot of Joe Sheridan. All of that after he kept the ball in play initially. A rather aimless pass across the face of goal by McCarthy. And the possession stakes now 10 percentage points between them. Laois in the ascendancy.
That was terrific play again by Joe Sheridan. He was a bit unlucky in the end, but he's a terrific full forward and has a great future ahead of him.
Paddy Reynolds. The kick ahead once again by Tomas O'Connor. Always the direct route forward. Here's an opportunity for Regan. Saved by Byron. He smothered it well. The keeper did really, really well on that occasion to deny Meath. And Dáithí Regan in particular is still down injured. Rooney and Evan Kelly going to ground, but I think his pride is injured in particular. Watch here, as we watch it in reprise, Sheridan feeding it on for Dáithí Regan, and the challenge came in from Aidan Fennelly, and Byron did really well to smother. There's a yellow card for Evan Kelly. All action. Tony, did you see what happened there?
No, just off the ball here, I see Ross Munnelly on the ground again.
Hank Traynor being isolated over there by the referee. Linesman's having a word with him. Munnelly is receiving attention. This was Darren Rooney a little while back. Going down there with Evan Kelly. Kelly ended up getting a yellow card. That's one little incident. Now what happened next? It's Hank Traynor against Munnelly. Munnelly down injured. Referee still having his little confab. What will be the end result? And Hank gets yellow. That means that every one of the half-back lines starting out for me this afternoon is now on yellow. But still, they're only a point behind, and they are the great battlers. Chris Conway, a great battler for Laois. Garvin feeding it into Rooney, lovely interplay. Chris Conway feeding it ahead to Clancy to kick and to score. That's Laois football at its best. Standing up to the pressure play of Meath, not being intimidated, physically imposing themselves, through the defence, freeing the man who was there to kick the point. And Pádraig Clancy Clancy kicks his first. It means that all bar Ian Fitzgerald and the starting forwards for Laois are now on the scoring sheet.
Normally in positions like this, Meath are the ones that lift their game, but Laois are really stepping up now and driving on.
They've got a newfound resolve, I think, from last year. They've gained on that experience, but they're still only 2 points clear of Meath. Free kick taken by McCaig. Trevor Giles fisting it outside for Darren Fay to come forward. Only 15 and a half minutes into the second half. Sheridan's in there, and that's gone wide. I tell you, as long as Joe Sheridan's in front of goal there, Laois will never be able to relax.
No, not at all. I see Ollie Murphy warming up over there in the sideline. What they do need is somebody around the goal that he can break the ball down, that can finish. But Sean Boylan will be very happy with the level of performance that Meath have had today. Totally different to the performance they had against Wicklow.
Also, I saw Tony Donald Curtis down there. I nearly called him Tony Curtis. Here comes Nigel Crawford taking on Kelly. Back towards Kenny once again. Released forward here for Regan, denied earlier. That's a great dispossession by Paul MacDonald. Brilliant play by the wing back to Mick Lawler. There's a lot of energy and resolve in this game. It may be raw on occasions, but that's what the championship is about too. Kicked ahead here by Tomas O'Connor. The battle for supremacy. Cool head back there being demonstrated by Darren Rooney. Now it's MacDonald once again. What a great intervention a little while back. Clancy kicking it forward, or punching it forward. Kelly. Once again the hand pass to Porrick Clancy. Here comes cornerback Joe Higgins. 40 metres out and a little more from the Meath goal. Bino MacDonald. Lovely control to beat McCaig and to kick supremely. That is some score by Brian. They call him Bino MacDonald. 11-8. That is sheer brilliance demonstrated here in Croke Park. Watch the little sidestep. Then he goes onto his scoring foot and he belts it over. Brilliant composure by Bino.
That's absolutely fantastic football. Noel McCaig could do absolutely nothing about that. Beautiful balance on his left or right leg, and we've been seeing him doing that since he's 18 years old up here in Croke Park. Absolutely outstanding play.
Two changes been made by Sean Boylan. In comes Donald Curtis, in comes Ollie Murphy. Out will go Evan Kelly and Seamus Kenny. It's the big gamble. It's the time of the match. Will Meath have to take a chance? Ollie Murphy has won so many great matches for Meath in the past. They're calling on him again. They don't want to face the back door. Evan Kelly up now among the substitutes. Having buzzed around, but in the end they needed fresh legs. Paul MacDonald's back on his feet again, having been attended to. The doctor's been busy for this Laois team.
Ollie Murphy will bring a bit of cuteness in there in the full forward line. All he'll be looking for is a break of a ball, and he's no better man to finish it or even win a penalty in there. He's been at it for years and he's a superb finisher.
We're watching one of the great managers there, Mick O'Dwyer. You saw another great manager in the stand, Brian Cody. Now it's not that he just wants to see this game. Of course he wanted to see the other teams involved in the hurling before this. That was won comfortably by Offaly. Meanwhile, Nigel Crawford kicking, it drops short and it's taken by Fergal Byron. Just to go back to Brian Cody, his team, Kilkenny, will face Dublin, beaten this afternoon in the qualifiers next Saturday. That's the reason he's here. Booted ahead here by Donald Curtis, stopped in the corner by Aidan Fennelly. Noel Garvin towards Ian Fitzgerald, roaming out around the middle of the field, taking Darren Fay out with him, leaving gaps inside. Parkinson is ready to expose them if the ball comes his way. Here he is, taking the pass from Ross Munnelly. Parkinson away, moving in with great menace and determination, and he's pulled down, and it's a free from the 13-metre line, and it's a glorious chance for Laois to go 4 points ahead of Meath. Trevor Giles was after him, and the foul committed by Trevor Giles, the referee decides. Mind you, I'm not 100% sure that he did foul him.
I think they're soft enough for you, but it's a perfect position for Ross Mulley just to tap it over again. Colin Parkinson has had a very, very good game today, out in front of his man all the time, no matter who is marking him.
So Ross Mulley, 5 points against his name on the programme here. So far in the match, 20 minutes into the second half. He makes it look pretty routine. Another one for Ross Mulley, another one for Laois, who lead Meath by 4 points with 15 minutes to go. Look at the scoring chances Laois have managed to make, 25, and they've just about taken 50%. Gallagher's kick gets a bit of variation this time, picking out Charles McCarthy, who pops up at a right half-forward position, beating Kelly to it. Foul inside to Sheridan. Meath needing something quickly. Sheridan, can he provide it? Ollie Murphy's up there. Trevor Giles is there as well, but so too is Joe Higgins, the little cornerback. Tidy player. Look at the space, look at the gaps that Laois are hoping to exploit. Parkinson felt he was fouled. Meath win back possession. Setting it up here. Curtis couldn't hold on. Next in is Charles McCarthy. It's booted forward there by Tom Kelly. Tomas O'Connor to regain. Meath want a couple of scores. And the referee just holding up the play. Linesman's been in there to intervene as well, and it's 2 hops, and it's going to be a free down for Laois. Could be another Meath substitution coming in pretty soon. Sean Boylan is about to make a change, and the man who's going to come on is John Cullinan, and going off Daithí Regan, and Cullinan is coming into the full forward spot to give them a bit of direction in there. Perhaps he'll be able to break some of the ball down for Sheridan, or pick up any loose pieces from Sheridan's knockdowns. McDonald's huge kick, it's way too long this time. I think you need to be running at Shelbourne Park to get that one.
Yes, it's the last throw of the dice for a lot of these players here today now, so they have about 10 minutes to lift it, and I think they have nearly all their troops on the field now. Maybe we'd see Graham Gertie before the day is out, but they have nearly everybody else that they could bring on at this stage.
Clancy jumping, but it's broken down by Garvin. But as far as Chris Conway, he's the scrap merchant, getting an awful lot of loose ball, unheralded in fact. Reynolds restarting, Nigel Crawford, now Moyles spreading it outside to Sheridan, popping up at a left half forward position. Byrne is out there as well. Once again it's Crawford, dropped in towards Murphy, keeping it in play. Ollie Murphy doing enough. The corner Rossman back once more. That's towards the other substitute, Cullinan, and he's put it well and truly wide of the target. No joy for John Cullinan from Drumree. That's 10 wides now in all for me. It's far too many. And still Fergal Byron keeping his goal intact. His side ahead by 4. Fisted ahead by Charles McCarthy. Paddy Reynolds racing to try and keep it in play, but all in vain. Arguing the point. Referee not interested. So Joe Higgins anxious to waste a couple of seconds now just to give his colleagues a chance to get into position, take up some angles. Ross Mulley breaking into himself. Hank Traynor has more or less given up the ghost at this stage. He's playing way off Ross Mulley. Ian Fitzgerald stylishly carrying it ahead. Mick Lawler punting it in hopefully for Parkinson to finish. He does! It could be the seminal moment of the game. On the hour, nearly 60 minutes ago. Championship football. What a time for it to come as he makes it 112 to 8 points. Mick Lawler fed it in. The defence was all over the place. Parkinson held his balance. For a moment I thought he was going to stumble here. He just about regained his footing, and in balletic fashion he finished it right into the corner. 112 to 8 points. Is there a Meath response? MacDonald. Well, that was some decision by Mick O'Dwyer to convert Colin Parkinson into a forward. I know he played there before Mick O'Dwyer became the Laois manager, but he restored him to the position. In the past you would have associated him with playing left half back. They've got sufficient backs, they needed forwards. Got plenty of those also. They're showing some great football, turning on the style. Fennelly way up there. Lawler who made that pass for the goal. Cut out this time by Meath. O'Connor kicking it forward to Trevor Giles. Won back by Mick Lawler. They want to get back into the Leinster final. It was 1946 and 47 the last time Laois were able to put appearances in the Leinster final back to back. And the outside kick this time by Ross Munnelly goes unrewarded.
All those young forwards are running the Meath backline ragged. They're absolutely playing great football. Brian MacDonald, Colin Parkinson, all these lads, fantastic football. What a pass that was by Mick Lawler when he looked up. Terrific vision to find out Parkinson, and a good finish by Parkinson. We were questioning before the game start, why not Bino MacDonald full forward? How can anyone question Mick O'Dwyer with all his service down the years? Terrific finish.
He looks like an Italian striker at Euro 2004.
Except they haven't scored.
And Meath haven't scored now since the 45th minute of this match, and they have never led in the game. More substitutions coming up, and Richie Keeley's going to come in from Dunshaughlin, and the player who's going to go off is Hank Traynor. So the end of Hank's nightmare. Wasn't his day up against a very much in-form Russ Munnelly, who ran the show. Cullinan at the other end. Little chip comes off the post, down to Crawford, and again it's Fergal Byron who produces a match-winning save. Super goalkeeping by Fergal Byron. Watch as this was floated in here by John Cullinan. Crawford's shot was brilliantly stopped by a goalkeeper who's really showing wonderful reflexes. A first-class stop by a first-class goalkeeper. Sheridan taking the 45, and he's put it over the bar. He may end up on the losing team, but he can be very pleased with his first performance in the championship. It's his debut, remember, at this level. So 6 points the margin, or a goal and 3. I'll make it about 6.5 minutes left, plus perhaps a bit of stoppage time. Crawford breaking it down, but he breaks it to a Meath man, to Kelly. Mick Lawler is going through. Meath slow to close, and Lawler very wisely decided there was no need for a goal. Just tap it over, take the points, maintain the lead. Kelly did really well here. Mick Lawler, his first points, it's coming on at half-time, and it's 113 to 9. Overall, Tony, I think it's a very mature display by Laois. They've come on in leaps and bounds.
Yes, once it's put up to them, they really dug in, did well at midfield. But what they have abundance of, that all good teams are, they have good forwards that can score when they're in space, and they have free takers that will punish any indiscretion by the other team. They're serious contenders for whatever they play this year, certainly for the Leinster Championship, and I'm sure they'll go on further than that.
I'm sure they've got bigger ideas than just the Leinster this year, but they'll settle for that to begin with. Micko the master. Interesting that in the game just before this, the All-Ireland champions knocked out of the Ulster campaign. They remain in the All-Ireland hunt, of course. Tyrone beaten today by Donegal. And now Laois beating Meath. Darren Rooney down towards Colin Parkinson. It spills away to Anthony Moyles. 5 minutes remaining. Drop down here well. And again, it's out as far as Darren Rooney. There's a maturity in their play, there's a cohesion and an understanding built on the success of last year. And still more players being warmed up. This is the 40th free kick of the game coming up here, as Joe Sheridan is held. But it was rather Sheridan doing the holding, so it's going to be a free out instead. The decision going Colin Byrne's way.
I feel sorry for Ollie Murphy coming on, having to mark somebody like Joe Higgins, because he's one of the most accomplished cornerbacks in the game. He's an absolutely superb guy at covering ground, and he never wastes the ball.
Byron delivering it to midfield. Once again, it's Meath who are winning the scraps. Can they hold on to it? Crawford. Referee decides it's going to be a Meath free kick. Four minutes and a little under to go of the 70. Trevor Giles kicking it high and hopefully up there, trying to pierce the cover of Fergal Byron's defence. That's gone wide. Well, it hasn't been a very successful afternoon for Trevor Giles, playing his 46th championship match.
I see Graham Geraghty warming up on the sideline, Jerry. I think at this stage they might as well throw caution to the wind and bring anyone they have on, because the way it's looking, with only about 4 minutes left, Laois are certainly pulling away from them.
No change made just yet that I can see. They've made 4 changes already in the match, Meath. One more to come, perhaps. Meanwhile, it's Laois with possession. Meath doing the chasing. And Chris Conway winning the free kick. Taken by Clancy. Outside here for Darren Rooney. Colin Parkinson, the goal scorer. Ross Munnelly. Held there by Bina MacDonald. Release once again to Tom Kelly. Great interplay. Garvin coming forward. Challenge by Moore. Oh. I think he should go back to play midfield. Not the most accomplished kick we've ever seen Noel Garvin deliver. And as we watch this again in reprise, the public address announcer is just saying that Meath are about to bring on you-know-who. Graham Geraghty.
Yes, and Trevor Giles will possibly go back centre-back. It's kind of ironic that we have Trevor Giles and Graham Geraghty in the last few minutes of the game trying to lift it for this team, because it might be the last time we see them wearing a Meath jersey.
2 great players over the years, but now really having to try and dig their team out of a massive hole. Ross Munnelly. Laois just flicking it around with great confidence, taking it back from Fitzgerald. Down for Parkinson, couldn't hold. Laois get it back, and it's Darren Fay. 34 minutes gone in the second half. They got to go for goals. And even that's most unlikely to be enough at this stage. You never know. Ollie Murphy's around. Graham Geraghty's calling for it on the left-hand side. They win a free kick. Laois funnel men back and frustrate Meath. Still a man loose outside. It was Curtis who was kicking, and in the end Sheridan with a lash at it, stopped by Byrne, spills away loose. Fennelly retrieves, jersey pulled by Cullinan, and Laois can just breathe a sigh of relief again. Normal service can be resumed. Clancy, beautiful cultured play. Down for Tom Kelly, the St. Joseph's player. Beautiful ball ahead for Ross Munnelly. Would have made a great score. It's into the building site, and that's coming on nicely as well. There'll be 3 minutes of added time to be played, and we're now after reaching the 70. The number of wide so far just about shared. Work to do there for Laois, for Meath in the qualifiers. The draw for the qualifiers coming up next Sunday afternoon. And of course all of that in a very busy Sunday game programme. Darren Fay, stopped once again by Mick Lawler. Darren Rooney. They are toying with Meath at this stage. They're pulling them apart, emphasising their superiority. Parkinson using up a little bit of the spare time. He's a great talent. Beautiful ball inside, awkward angle. Goalkeeper under pressure, he does well. Fouled and a free out. Ian Fitzgerald committed the foul. That's Colin Parkinson down there injured. But they're just turning it on at this point. Parkinson releasing it, wasn't too aware of where it was going to go to. Trevor Giles.
I think he brought that on himself, holding the ball up. Whatever you say about Meath players, they certainly don't give up, and they show tremendous spirit. And that kind of stuff, holding onto the ball in the corner, they wouldn't like that kind of stuff.
There it is again. The referee's gone way down to the middle of the field, and there's a red card, and it's against John Cullinan. Something that happened well away from the play, or did it? Or was that the foul that happened down there? It was the foul that happened down there. That's how the referee read it. Well, it's gone horribly wrong, completely wrong for John Cullinan. And Mick O'Dwyer will be happy to have negotiated the hurdle and taken his team to another Leinster final. Disappointment for Sean Boylan. The rocky road of the qualifiers beckons. There'll be a lot of interesting teams in the qualifiers, and they include, of course, the reigning All-Ireland champions, Tyrone, beaten today. That's dropped back in there by Richie Keeley. Laois, who lead by 113, have created 32 scoring chances and taken 14. Meath have only scored 9 points out of 25 scoring opportunities. Reynolds kicking it to the centre. Referee looks at his watch, decides there's another few seconds left in it, and the torment could continue for Meath. The strength and prowess of Laois football well illustrated. The fans cheering to the rafters. Lawler kicking, stopped by the goalkeeper, almost as good as a point as the referee whistles, and the Leinster semi-final ends in victory for Laois. The managers share a moment. The glory is Mick O'Dwyer's. Sean Boylan has to regroup with his Meath team. This afternoon they can have no complaints. They were beaten by the superior force. Colin Parkinson's second half goal was just a feature of Laois's play, but they were much the better team and win by 113 to 9 points. As we go down to the side of the field to Tony O'Donoghue, talking now with the triumphant manager.
Mick O'Dwyer, congratulations on a magnificent Laois performance. Your young fellas grew in stature today, I think.
They did. They played exceptionally well there in the second half, you know. They led off the ball well, and anyway, that little bit of extra fitness and Meath maybe on the day. But overall, we played good combined football and took some great scores. Ah, yeah, well, it's satisfying, there's no doubt about that. We're hoping now we can go on and bring off the title again for a second year in a row, which would be a big achievement for us in Laois.
Interestingly, you went into this game as favourites, but you wore the favourites tag quite easily on your shoulders.
Well, I mean, favourites and no favourites. I mean, you have to go out on the day, and it's 15 players against 15. Favourites and non-favourites makes no damn difference one way or the other. But I said to them at half-time, what the hell were we doing in the first half? I said, surely be to God there's more fire and spirit left in you. And in fairness to them, they produced it in the second half and they played outstanding football.
What about Colin Parkinson? You've turned him into a full forward, and what a game he had.
He was absolutely outstanding, you know. I suppose he's a very mercurial type of player. He can be outstanding, and then other days, you know, he don't want to know about it. But when Colin gets fit, and he's getting fitter every week, he becomes a great player, and he had an outstanding game today.
Nico, finally, the Leinster final. Would you like a crack at Paddy's Westmeath?
Well, I don't know. Whoever will be there, either Paddy or whoever, makes no difference. It'll be a Leinster final for us. We'll try and win it.
Well done, Nico. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Ross Munnelly is with us as well. Congratulations, Ross. A brilliant performance by Laois.
Thanks very much. Yeah, very tough performance. The game that was in it, we knew coming up here to play Meath it was going to be hell for leather. We in fact thought it was going to be our toughest match over the 2 years, you know, because Meath, they were the last one to beat in Leinster. We felt had always put it up to us, so we're delighted to be over that. And you know, when you look around here today and you look at all the supporters came to see us, it's just brilliant. It's just every day we go out, they're coming even thicker and heavier, and it's just brilliant for Laois. And the player, it means so much to the players to have that support out here today.
What about the performance today, though? What will that do for your confidence going into the Leinster final?
Well, you know, people were starting to knock us again, you know, and the game that was in it against Carlow, tight pitch in Dr. Cullen, and we knew 5 points was a great victory in there, because remember, all the teams around the country are improving. Maybe it's because of all the upsets, everyone is starting to get a bit more faith in themselves, and we knew coming up here today, a bigger pitch, more atmosphere in Croker, this is where we want to play our football, and this is where we love playing it, and we feel we play our best games up here.
Wexford or Westmeath in the final?
Well, it's going to be very tight between those two. You know, both of them are after coming out of nowhere this year like we did last year, and the best of luck to whoever gets into the final, but we're coming up here to win, and make no mistake, we want to do the very same, and if not, go further than last year.
Well done, Ross. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Back to you, Michael.
Troy O'Donoghue, thank you very much indeed. Ross Munnelly talks like he plays football with an awful lot of conviction and an awful lot of confidence, and that for me in the second half today was what Laois were all about. Yeah. That they actually had the belief in themselves this year to pull it, when it was tight at half time, to actually pull it out in the second half.
For sure. I mean, to listen to the enthusiasm in Ross Munnelly's voice there, I mean, they're a team going forward. They'll have used this year as a stepping stone. Leinster won't be good enough for Laois this year. They're looking at All-Ireland semi-final, All-Ireland final appearance. And I spoke to Mick O'Dwyer a couple of weeks ago, and he's very, very confident that they can go a step further than last year and maybe win it outright.
Yeah, there's no, from their second half performance today, there's no reason to doubt them on that, Joe Brawley.
No, and you know, they've got, it's their time. You know, Meath are on a downward spiral. They were beaten by Fermanagh last year, and they just, whenever you see Ollie Murphy coming on and Graham coming on and all great players, and Trevor Giles, you know, battling very hard. But I mean, Trevor Giles was one of the great players of the last 10 years, and yet there today, you know, he just wasn't pacey enough up to the speed of the game. And so Meath are in a downward spiral, but Laois really in the second half were impressive, and they've got togetherness and morale. They were very vibrant and they played with urgency. And when Lawler came in, all of a sudden he started to open them up with beautiful passes. The goal was brilliantly taken by my friend. And generally they just, I mean, Meath battled hard, and their full forward Sheridan was a revelation. He was the one bright spot for them up front. I thought maybe at an earlier stage they could have brought Ollie in alongside him, because Ollie would have been too good in the air for Joe Higgins. But as it is, I mean, it was a very fair reflection of the play, the scoreline.
I think it was. I think about the bottom line about it was you have a Laois team that are gradually going up, and a Meath team that maybe are gradually going at the moment the other way. I want to take you through some of the key moments in the second half. We want to have a look at Colin Parkinson's goal, and I want you to talk about this, Joe Brawley, because at half time you were getting rid of him, sort of. But
well, I think he had 8 balls in the first half and he wasted 7 of them and scored a beautiful point. And, you know, as I think that Miko described him as mercurial, and that's a pretty...
Miko was very honest about him in that chat there, and he kind of summed him up and said, look, when we get him fit...
He's a bit like Devaney, you know, some days he can be terrific and some days he can be just too awful for words. But this pass is perfection itself. I mean, look at that. It's the only place he could... I mean, and he didn't have to break his stride, and in fairness to him, even when he slipped, he finished it very, very well. It was a really good finish.
Paul, they brought on Mick Lawler there as well, you know, and a player with a lot of experience. That was a lovely ball in.
Tremendous ball from Mick Lawler, and he had a very, very good game today, and he actually picked out Darren Rooney with a similar ball earlier on in that second half, and it was a great block from young McKeague to stop another goal going in. But Parkinson is a good player. I mean, he's very, very talented. He's very quick. You know, as Joe said, he got 8 balls in the first half, way out ahead of Darren Fay, but not too much came off. In the second half, he continued where he left off, but they seemed to get a lot more scores.
Sure, yeah. During the winter period, Mick O'Dwyer had to fight very hard to keep Fergal Barron on the panel because he's a young family and he wasn't sure if he could make the commitment, and they made things work for him and made sure he stayed there. Some of the saves he made in that match today, you can see why they want him between the posts.
Yeah, I mean, Fergal is an all-star keeper. He's been tremendous for Laois down through the years.
There were also chances here though, Paul. Meath might have done better in one or two of these moves.
I think Meath were in this game for 40 minutes and who knows if one of these goal chances had gone in.
Terrible miss.
I mean, that was an awful miss. As Joe said earlier, if it had been maybe Ollie Murphy or Trevor Giles in that position, that was a goal back of the net and Meath on the up.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, you have to credit Aidan Fennelly for making a half block and making it difficult for him.
But I think also there came a point in the game when Laois realised that Meath weren't up to it, and the whole atmosphere of the game changed. All of a sudden Laois's confidence came back and they started to play the way we know they can, because I mean, like Donegal against Tyrone, Donegal had the forwards to take advantage of Tyrone's frailties today. Meath didn't have the forwards to take advantage of Laois's frailties whenever they had 2 or 3 very good goal chances. Any one of those had gone in, it would have been a very different game.
Again, in the half-time analysis, we were talking about Ross Manelli, who had a fantastic game overall.
Yeah.
You were expecting more from Bino MacDonald. For me, in the second half, he scored one class point that really showed like the kind of talent that he has, and at a crucial stage in the match as well.
Well, all young players, what you should say to him, look, go out and practice on your weak foot. He's 2-footed. Now, he's not very pacey, but he's a terrific Gaelic footballer. And as Paul will tell you, it's the ultimate nightmare to face a man who's playing. But he does this very cleverly. Really see what he does. First of all, he takes it on his right foot. Now, he makes the back think he wants to get onto his right foot. He touches it once with his left.
Nice, yeah.
I mean, that's terrific. The back thought he was going to shoot with his left.
I mean, that's a fantastic score. And Bino had a tremendous second half, and he's a super player. You know, he can score. He can bring other fellas into the game, and you know, he's going to be a huge player later on this year.
One of the things about this Laois team, after their performance last year, they had 3 all-stars in the team. Now, the goalkeeper, they had 2 defenders, Joe Higgins and Tom Kelly, right? They could have had, Ross Manelli could have made a Bino, certainly could have made it. Unlucky to lose out. So this is a good team.
Yeah, certainly are, and you know, we haven't mentioned other guys like Pádraig Clancy, who was very, very good in the middle of the field when he moved out there just after half-time. And they're growing in confidence, as Joe says. They kind of clicked into gear once they could see, or once they could smell blood in the second half, and you know, if they can reproduce that performance again, they're going to be there at the business end of the championship. Well, gentlemen, Sean Boylan has presided over some very good Meath teams down through the years. Unfortunately, as the qualifier is now for Sean, he's talking to us.
Thanks very much indeed. Sean Boylan joins me, and Sean, I suppose it's a tough one to take for Meath, but Laois were probably the better side overall.
They were, Tony, there's no question about that. Played marvellous football. We were with them for a long time, but when they got the breaks and they went ahead, we didn't have any answer to it. We had chances, we just weren't able to put them away. Maybe it was we were put off the ball or whatever it was, but that doesn't matter. They played like champions today. They're going to be very difficult to dethrone, not just in Leinster, but they're going to be very difficult in the whole All-Ireland series, and the very best of luck to them.
You did everything you could, really. You had Ollie Murphy come in, Donald Curtis, Graham Geraghty at the end. Just wasn't to be for Meath today.
Yeah, but it's just, you know, the lads who were out there were doing well just to try and change it, to try and see if we could do something else, and you know, it didn't work, Tony, but sure, it's not the end of the world. We still have a chance, and I hope we make the most of it. But let's not take from Laois today. The marvellous performance. As I say, we had our chances, we weren't able to take them.
Well, 6-all at half-time, and it was 8-all 10 minutes into the second half, so you must have felt you had stayed with them. But then you had a lot of misses as well there. You probably rue those, I'm sure.
Yeah, you would, of course, but that's, you know, part of this game has been able to take those chances, and many another time we would have been able to take them. It's hard luck on the lads who things didn't work out for, but that's football, and you know, that's what we're here for, and we'll be still coming back fighting and trying to do better again.
Well, Tyrone beaten as well today, the All-Ireland champions, so the round trip to the All-Ireland will be an interesting one with some teams like yourself now and Tyrone in it.
Well, no one else will probably get that handled round, you know what I mean, and maybe we get Pat McEnany refereeing it as well, you know, you never know, but it's just the way life goes. That's the way, whatever it is. Donegal, a very good team. We saw 2 years ago, we saw the way they played last year, we played against them, really good team. But Tyrone were marvellous All-Ireland champions, and they'll be fighting as well, of course they will.
Thanks very much for joining us, Sean.
Tony.
Back to you, Michael.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Sean Boylan, the Meath manager, gracious as ever. Paul, we heard from Mick O'Dwyer earlier on. He was talking about the ambition, and Ross Manelli. You know, they won Leinster last year. They want to do that again this year at the very, very least, and they fancy more out of themselves. Are they good enough to do it?
Yeah, I think they are. The one danger for Laois is that they'll be meeting either Westmeath.
With 2 changes from their loss.